It's Wednesday night, the 15th of April, and day 106 of pursuing my journey to alignment and living the dream. Today's power statement says, I will build out lesson 9, financing your business. Well, today didn't go quite like Ed planned last night. After doing my win the day routine, I went upstairs and started my normal process where I check my emails and review my bank accounts to see if I need to pay any bills or have some transactions that are causing concern or whatever. After I finished doing these two tasks, I had a stack of papers I needed to go through and decided whether or not to toss them out or keep them, and if so, then I'd put them away in the files. Anyway, in looking over them, I had some bank issues I needed to take care of, which I couldn't do anything about before 10 this morning, and that's because of the COVID-19 precautions. My bank isn't opening their branches until 10 in the morning, and then they close them at as early as 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So that's what I call real banking hours. Anyway, I finally got back home, and as I walked in the door where Kathleen was working, she asked if I would take a minute or two to do a couple of things for her, and before I knew it, it was after 11:30 this morning, so my morning was basically shot. But finally, I was able to get back upstairs here to start working on building out lesson 9's recording. And so let me show you something here. Let me get this here real quick. And there we go.
I see you have a big smile on your face. You must have just looked at your business checks one more time to see your business's name listed right in the upper left-hand corner of your checks. I remember the first time I saw my checks with my business name on them. Oh, it was fantastic. So, congratulations. Good job at getting that done. As you know, today's lesson is Lesson 9, Financing Your Business. Now that you've opened your business bank account and you're set to do the financial transactions record keeping, it's now time to focus on how you're going to be able to finance your business so that you're ready to launch your business successfully.
Well, there you go. The fact is, I didn't get very far on this project, but I did get the first segment built out, which you just saw. So it looks great, and I need to say that I want to get the other ones done, but I'm glad I got that one done. Now, let me look at my to-do list for my Wednesday. Okay. Anyhow, it's not very long. Wanted to get that built out. Want to do more. Do my bank accounts. Go through the stack of paper. But that's what I got done. So, like I said before, there's going to be those kind of days when we're faced with having to choose if we're going to be flexible with their plans or not. And the good thing about this is I was able to keep my commitment to start building out Lesson 9's assignments and Lesson 9 segments, even with all the delays that I had facing me today. And even if I hadn't been able to get that one recording done, it still would have been just fine. We just continuing on. Next is Corey's Get Honest With Yourself questions. What didn't go well today, Marty? Or what could you have done better today? Did you wake up early and start your day strong? Did you start your morning with power? Check. Were you productive? Portal of my mind, that piece now here in the world of the physical, absolutely. Did you get the most important thing done? Did you move your goals through? And did you move them forward? I did. Did you show up as the person you were wanting to show up as, and as the person that you know you are? Yes. What about your personal time with Kathleen? Were you present? Yes, I was. All day long and into the evening, it was nice. Now combine all these questions as one big question. Were you honest with yourself about today's task, Marty? In other words, did you keep your commitments you made to yourself today? Well, like I said, although I had a few intrusions on my time, I was able to keep the one commitment I made to myself this morning, and I really feel good about that. And in addition, there was one thing that was really fun today, and that was when I came in from running my errands and going to the bank and so on. Kathleen squealed with delight as I entered the door because she said, "Today's my Friday. I get to go off work tomorrow and off work Friday." This was Wednesday, so she had an early Friday. And she said, "Yippee!" She normally has to work on Thursdays and Fridays, but she has accumulated too many what's called PTO hours, paid time off, and was going to lose them if she didn't take a few days off from work. And so her boss told her to take off tomorrow and Friday, and so she's really happy about that. And that's why the yippee. Next, Croy asked, what was the one thing out of all the things you did today, Marty, that you know you could improve on going forward? In other words, did you have or did you experience any failure today? And if so, is it something you can turn into a tool of success? Well, I've often talked about being faced with the unexpected or unplanned, and like I said the last time, we need to roll with the punches and take these kinds of setbacks in stride. The fact is, we have the choice to be angry and say things like, I'm going to lose my entire morning of productivity. I can't do that. I still got a lot done this morning that was important, including helping Kathleen out. That's what I choose to do. I choose to think the right things. I choose to break off the mirrors mentally, so to speak, and never look back and just look forward. The next question what was your biggest success you had today? Well, I think my biggest success today was that I stayed strong all day long. I started strong by doing everything I usually do every morning, my morning routine, my daily checklist tasks, and I showed up as the person I wanted to be today. I love showing up as the person I want for Kathleen and for myself too. And even with the setbacks, I was still able to get started on building out Lesson 9, and that's great. The next question that Croy asked is, what's the one thing you did that made you feel successful today, Marty? Well, the fact that I'm alive and happy, even with all this pandemic chaos happening around me, seeing all the suffering and the stress that's happening throughout the country and across the entire world for that matter, I feel so humble and very blessed. For me, being able to recognize all my many blessings, especially the feeling of peace I have right now, even while all this chaos of the pandemic rages on, it ranks even higher than the feeling of success does. And so, yes, I'm a very happy man, and I enjoyed another day, another exciting day of living the dream. The next question is, what movies did you watch today in your mind? Well, did you make time for them? Yes, I did. I could say the same old, but my favorite movies never get old. Going to the movies is another way that I set the table for a successful day, and working hard and dreaming hard. It adds so much power to my ability to start strong, stay strong, and end strong. And so when I answer the question, did you start your day with power? It's going to the movies that lets me say, yes, I did. Every single day. Croy then asked to rate your day. Well, I gave today a 6. I say 6 because it wasn't because it was a bad or non-productive day. I gave it a 6 because I worked at the speed of 6, plain and simple. Because of all the detours I chose to take, resulting in the loss of most of my morning, I decided to just go with the flow and relax and just enjoy the rest of the day and look for something that I could learn from the day. And if those choices helped, I think it did. That gives me a good mindset that serves me well each day when I take that approach. So there you go. The next question is, if this was the only thing that you got done today, what would that, tomorrow, and you'd still feel like a success, what would that one thing be? And now put into a power statement. So I made my power statement for tomorrow say this: I will try to finish building out Lesson 9. I chose to say try because with Kathleen having both tomorrow and Friday off, I've got a feeling that Kathleen's going to want to do something with me. And so I want to make sure I leave something in the way of time available for her. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to try to get as much done as I can tomorrow towards building out Lesson 9, but I always want to spend as much time of the day as I can with Kathleen, so we'll see. Okay, let's end the day strong. Here's what I'm grateful for today. First of all, I'm grateful for my nice leather folder. I got to show you this right here. If you can see it, I'm going to show the shininess of it and the kind of folder it is. And you pop it, and it has a pad and a computer, a little calculator. It's so nice. It's just a lovely, lovely thing. I often have meetings or I give speeches, and so it's nice to have everything all tucked away inside something that looks nice and professional like that does. And what's nice about it is that it wasn't that expensive at all. So it's a great little tool to have. Next, I'm grateful for the law of hypochondria. If you watch television or love movies, you know that the most innocent looking of suspects often turns out to be the murderer. It's also true that the obstacle we suspect the least is the one that ends up causing our greatest distress. Problems usually lurk unexpectedly in our own attitudes and imaginations. That's what worry is all about. 85% of what we worry about never happens. And that's why I call this the law of hypochondria. A hypochondriac is a person who's subject to imaginary ailments. The dictionary says that a hypochondriac hypochondria is a morbid melancholy anxiety of the mind. The personality characteristics in the mind of the hypochondria thrives on inertia, hatred, conflict, jealousy, feelings of inferiority, and the lack of one dominating single interest. The hypochondriac often lets their imagination run away from their reason. They magnify little slights and give undue attention to the imperfections of others. They're constantly judging everyone else. These folks develop delusions of inference, which are misrepresentations of things they see and hear. They pamper the natural impulse in order to believe an unfavorable thing about someone else or about events. They check up on others too closely and then don't check closely enough upon themselves. Stable emotions are one of the most valuable possessions. Stable emotions is one of our most valuable possessions. If we indulge the impulse to believe what we want to believe without reference to all the facts, meaning we aren't honest with ourselves first, we develop defective reasoning and bring upon ourselves all kinds of imaginary ailments, including mental and physical illnesses. Few things are more devastating or demoralizing than the death-like grip of these hypochondriacal tendencies. For generations, we have largely overlooked the greatest single cause of human failures and suffering: our emotions. We need far more than a sound body and a keen intellect to get us comfortably through life. We need a sound philosophy of life. When we allow little things, either real or imagined, such as a crossword, rejection, a feeling of lethargy, indisposition, or a few failures, to throw us into a slump, we may become unable to extricate ourselves from it. We need to be careful about letting ourselves get into the habit of being discouraged or hurt too easily, or seeing offense where none was intended. Even if it was intended, why should we let our thoughtless people around us or even our enemies hurt us? It doesn't serve us to do so. Lastly, I'm grateful for the principle of success. The basis of everything in life, including success, is value. What I mean by this is that if there was ever one core principle to success, it most certainly is value. As an employee, as a business owner, or even a person in general, as long as you add more value to this world than you take away from it, you, my friends, are a success. Michael Jordan said in an interview recently, "I missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I was trusted to take the game-winning shot, and I missed it. And I failed over and over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." I'm constantly trying to work on developing this kind of success mentality by reading, listening, and watching these kinds of champions. And I think you should do the same thing. Okay, there you go. Time to close this off. Just know that today was a great day of living the dream. I'll be back right here tomorrow night, sitting right here at my computer, and I'll be sharing my day's journey of alignment. Until then, though, I wish you continued success. Good night.